Welcome to the podcast, beta version. We're going to start with this one version and see where it goes from there. Let's start off with some introductions. My name is Gord Nuttall. I'm a senior data engineer with Adswerve. I'm a data-driven decision enabler. 25 years working with different kinds of data and experience taking that data into better information to make decisions. I am a certified Google data engineer. I am also a published author and the founder of greensocks.com. Little side hustle I have going.
Is that last one real?
You're
the
it's
founder
real.
of Green Socks?
Yep. Next to me, I have Brian Anderson.
All right, I'm Brian. I'm, as Gord has said, I'm a web guru, so I enjoy doing all things web, development and things with analytics. I have 20 years data experience doing analytics and just stuff in SQL and databases. Claim to fame, I went to state bowling championship when I was in high school, so that was really cool.
5-pin?
10.
That's doubly hard, isn't it?
US. Yeah. I
Okay.
guess double hard.
Doubly hard, like 5-pin versus 10?
It's definitely, yeah.
Okay.
And I used to travel 100,000 miles a year.
That's a lot of miles. How many K?
I think it's like 160,000.
160,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
Wow.
For those who, Gord and I are currently in Canada, but Adswerve is based out of the U.S. in like Colorado and Seattle area.
Denver specifically in Colorado, yeah.
I guess.
And then the Seattle area, yeah. That's where the large number of employees reside.
Right. But we're in kilometers, I guess, right now. So I'd like to hear more about this Green Socks.
Greensocks.com. So I started this about 18 months ago. Here's a screenshot of it. And what you're looking at here is that this is the homepage. And you can see all the different types of socks that I sell. But you'll notice on each of the socks, there's a small little circle on them, an indicator that is either red or green. So if it's green, good to go. Greensocks.com, you're good to wear those socks. They haven't reached their point where you can't wear them yet. And then red means you should give them a wash.
Okay.
They've got a lot of bacteria in them. They're probably starting to smell. You want to get them clean again. And when you wash them, that red indicator will turn back to green.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yeah. I mean, at first I was like, do you just like throw them away once they turn red? But
Nope.
you wash them?
No.
Okay.
So the whole premise behind the idea is you want to get the maximum use out of your socks before you have to wash them. So you're saving on water, you're saving on laundry soap. Greensocks.com, a greener world.
Cool. So you can't just like take these off and put them on some clothes, like these little indicators? Like it's just socks
No, they're
only?
built into the socks.
Okay.
And you can have an app with them as well, so you can see how your socks are doing throughout the day if you really care about that much.
So I can see my soil level on my phone?
Yep.
Like via Bluetooth or something?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much? I need to go to this website, actually. So anyways.
Yeah, check them out. Yeah, go. There's
Do you measure people going to this website, or how do you know? Are these really popular?
Yeah, so that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. Like, when I first started, like a year ago, most people that came here, no problem. They'd always end up buying socks. But lately, I've noticed that people come, but they're just leaving right away.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the problem is. And I have a feeling it could be due to slower loading. Because it seems to me, I haven't really looked at the metrics recently, but the pages are loading a lot slower these days. And the one final thing that I've noticed is that my remarketing campaigns, digital ad campaigns, aren't performing the way they used to either. So the ones on Google Ads, Facebook, Instagram, I'm not getting the payback, return on investment there that I once was getting. So I'd like to seek your help in
Spot-
fixing
okay.
these problems.
Well, let's look at your current setup. Like, what do you have currently on this site?
Okay, well, I'm running Google Analytics,
Okay.
and I'm in the midst of changing that over to GA4 as well.
Okay.
But I'm running Google Tag Manager because I did follow all the best practices for setting up a website, and I am a big Google fan, so I went with their products. But this is how it's set up now on the screen. I have my website, which has a container, Google Tag Manager, and then all my tags within that container, such as Google Analytics. I've got my Google Ads conversion tracking. I got my Google Ads remarketing. I've got Facebook pixels, LinkedIn pixels, Instagram pixels, Pinterest tags. I got it all. I'm trying to get as many. I mean, everyone wears socks pretty much.
Yeah.
So the world's my oyster.
Let's
here.
reach them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm after them all. So I'm putting as many pixels on there and remarketing tags on that container because it's easy to add. No
Right.
problem.
Okay. Well, sounds good. Like, yeah, I mean, you're doing everything right. One thing I say is like there's a new thing out that you could potentially help, specifically with the page speed that you had mentioned. I think we talked about, page speed loading. If you're loading all these different pixels and all these different kind of, I would say, JavaScript snippets that are doing this. So like how this kind of works today is like if you have Google Tag Manager, all these different pixels are having to load some JavaScript on your website. So on your
But it's just like
browser.
this big. It's like one
They're
line. Script equals Google
Agreed.
or Facebook.
They're fairly small, but then they're going to bring in a library that they're going to download. So if you like check out your library, so they're going to start listening for certain things on your website. So there could be some performance changes potentially, not always, but they're also going to make network requests. So every single pixel that you have, and like Google Analytics included, it's all going to have to talk somewhere, right? So if it measures that data on your website, it's going to have to send somewhere. So where's it going to send to? It's to send to Google Analytics. It's a Google server. You're going to have to send to, like, if your Facebook pixel, it's going to have to send to a Facebook server. LinkedIn would have to send to a LinkedIn server. So each one of these places is making an extra connection from your web browser. So if a person comes to your website, they look at greensocks.com, and then you have all these different extra tags loading. All of those are going to make connections now to send data to all those different points.
But that's what I want.
That is what you want. So there's another potential way now to do this where we can actually have it sent to one place, so one server that you own. So that's a computer that you own. It could run in the cloud or under your desk if you wanted. But like you can send to that server just one hit, basically, that looks like a Google Analytics 4 hit. And then the server then can do the extra work instead of each of your potential customers' browsers doing the work.
Okay. So
this thing is called server-side GTM. So it's basically the same thing as Google Tag Manager, but it lives server-side as well. So you kind of use both in conjunction.
So if I understand this right, there's a bit of a cost that comes along with marketing to everybody.
Yes.
I have to talk to all these other platforms.
Right.
And tell them who's coming to my site and give them that information.
Yep.
So this could be what's slowing it down.
Possibly.
Possibly.
It could be what's slowing us down. Also, some other things like, if you're seeing your measurement decrease, possibly there's some browser changes that have taken place that could be related to that.
Well, I am tracking my page load time.
Okay.
So you want to have a look at that?
Let's look at that.
Look in August. So the blue line here on the screen shows my medium page load time in seconds. And I mean, it's getting progressively worse.
Yeah. So what are you doing? What do you think's leading to this?
Well, I'll tell you what happened in August is my kids told me that I needed to be on TikTok.
Oh, okay.
So I put the TikTok remarketing tags on there. So that definitely coincides with the only change that I made in August. I'm going to have a little word with them. I mean, they just can't be telling me to do stuff like that and then not knowing the effects it can have. Wow. I mean,
well, hopefully you're reaching a lot of people on TikTok now. Maybe that's
TikTok has been good.
Okay.
But it's a lot
there's a benefit.
Well, TikTok's easy to make. Like, imagine all the videos that you can have with dirty socks.
Dancing around in your green socks.
Basketball, hamper shots, like tons of ideas going to come there. So.
Feed that algorithm, right? Yeah, that's good.
Exactly. So.
All right. Well, hopefully they're leading to conversions and people are just spending their time there. But yeah. Okay.
So does this mean I have to choose one or the other? Like
not necessarily. So no, they usually work in kind of a hybrid approach. So you can have both what we term as kind of web GTM. So that's the one that runs on the web or runs in your browser.
That's the one I have now.
Yeah, that's the one you have now. So you usually call that web GTM. And then there's server-side GTM. So they work together, really. So if you look at this example that we have on here, you have your website. You still have your tag manager container that loads on your website, so in the browser.
Okay.
But what you're going to have now, you only need to configure potentially one tag. So usually we use like a Google Analytics 4 tag. You'll configure that. You'll send...
I don't have Google Analytics 4 yet.
Okay. Well, we could help you with Universal Analytics works as well.
Well, I mean, I'm not switched over to it yet.
Right.
So this isn't just for GA4, is it?
It's not. You can use it for Universal Analytics as well. But Universal Analytics is going away in this coming year.
Correct.
But you can still send to Universal Analytics. When we configure this with people, since just the Google Analytics 4 is newer, we often end up just sending that hit as well first. So you can send, and you can actually even split up a Google Analytics 4 hit and have it just turn into a Universal Analytics hit as well, both ways. Anyways, you could have two different tags, even that Universal Analytics and Google Analytics 4 tag. Both those could send then over to the server-side GTM container, and then kind of similar to how Google Tag Manager is today on the web, it's kind of designed to have this user interface that's made easy for people who can't code, or maybe they don't want to code. It's just a low-code solution, right? There is some coding you could do in there, but really the idea is just to make it easy, right, to get your tagging done. So you can configure these pixels.
Yeah, it's super simple.
Yeah, you can route, you have your triggers, then you can set up your tags, and then you can just route things to where you want it to go. So the idea is that server-side GTM is very similar to that. The the user interface looks very similar. So you basically then can route when a tag fires client-side, it will send that hit over to the server-side container, and then from there, you can choose to have triggers will then trigger on the event and then can send it to multiple places at once with the server doing the work. So say you have a purchase event for yours. We could send that one purchase event to the client side, or so to the server side container. There's a thing on there called the client that picks it up. And then you can break it out, like fan it out to all these different places. So you can have that one purchase event now send the purchase data to Facebook, to Google Analytics, to TikTok, to Pinterest, all these different places, all just from one request that went out from your website.
But it does that now.
Right.
From my client.
But now your browser's making all those requests.
So what's the difference?
So now the browser makes one request out, and then the server takes that extra work to send to all those different places.
Oh, I see.
So that's how it could potentially increase your page speed.
That alleviates the load on the person's phone or the whatever device they're using to buy the socks.
Because otherwise their network is having to send all those requests as well, right? So now you're making that one request where the server is going to send all that stuff.
So Google just does this for free now on the server-side GTM. I just sign up. I just check a box, say I want to use server-side GTM instead of web GTM, and I'm good to go.
So that is what is a little different is that you own this actual server. So in whatever way. Or maybe you rent it.
I don't want to own any servers.
Okay. You could rent it. So then you could so basically it's like you don't own them. You actually rent them from a cloud platform like Google Cloud Platform.
I don't even want to rent servers.
Okay.
That costs money.
It does cost money.
Jeez. How much money?
It could vary. It depends on how much traffic you have. So we'd have to, analyze the traffic to kind of determine that. But it can be fairly low cost. We make this as lower cost as possible. But it all depends on your hit volume, the regions that you're in. So if you're worldwide, and there's different costs potentially there. But that's depending on your cloud provider, you can rent those. But yes, that is a challenge with this is like you do have to maintain this. There are other benefits too. Is that you actually now can link this to your own domain. So then you have everything actually communicate in what's called a first-party context instead of having it be, have these third-party cookies that are loading, which are kind of potentially going away from different browsers. So there are other benefits, but typically it's pretty high volume clients are going to do this. But yeah.
Why do I want to get rid of third-party cookies again?
Third-party cookies, well, what's happening is like with a lot of them is some are not being set based on the browser, or some third-party cookies, they have a limit for like how long they're set for. Some could be set for like, they'll allow them to be set for like 24 hours or 7 days. So what that is a challenge is that if you're trying to measure like, repeating customers or anything like that, or people coming back as like a returning person to maybe purchase more socks.
It usually takes more than 24 hours to get a new pair of socks.
Right, so they may come back and then they may be treated as a new person. So then you don't get to see like their current, their purchase history and that kind of thing. So you may not be aware that this person's actually returned multiple times. It just each time it looks like they're brand new. So you might have a person who just really loves your socks and just keeps buying them month after month, but you may lose out on that because there's, that 7-day window is gone.
Okay. So first-party cookies, much better than third-parparty cookies.
So the first-party cookies also, it's more secure too. It's HTTP set, so it can only be read by the server. So it actually is more secure too, so that other websites could not read that cookie. Only the server can read that cookie, and they only have access to it. So your browser kind of locks down that. So it makes it secure in that sense that they couldn't get an ID from these being set.
Okay. And you've eaten cookies before, right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. And which are your favorites?
My favorites? I actually don't know. It's just chocolate chip. I'm an old-fashioned.
But homemade chocolate chip,
I think
right?
homemade, yeah. That's like,
so that, if you want to remember this in the future, I would always map it like first-party cookies are homemade chocolate chip cookies, and then third-party cookies are like, dry Oreos that have expired at the store.
And Chips Ahoy.
Yeah, the chewy ones are good.
Okay, yeah. But they're not homemade.
No, they're not. But
they're not. Yeah.
They're like a second-party cookie. Is that such a thing?
No, I don't think. I think you're the second party. When you're the one using that, you're the second.
Think about before making this switch. So right now, we think that my website is slowing down because of all this extra load that I have on my clients. And now you're suggesting one possible alternative is to use server-side GTM to basically make one request and then fan it out to all those places that I'm still trying to communicate with. So what else do I have to think about before I make this decision?
You want to make sure that, it's in time to like kind of audit your tags to look at what's necessary, what's not. Right?
Okay.
Obviously, if you're seeing your page is slowing down, well, now's the time to trim some of that, right? And and there's also kind of right now, it's a different space. Like this is newer products, so like some things you can't move from WebGTM to server-side GTM. They just there's some vendors like say TikTok.
Not all green grass over there.
No, so say like TikTok for example may not have an API to communicate for its conversions via server-side. So instead they only use their JavaScript library that you can load on the client-side tag manager or WebGTM, as I say. So
first step is to audit, make sure everything I'm doing, I'm getting the return that I want, and I want to keep it.
Yep.
Second step is to make sure that it's capable of moving to SGTM if I want to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other steps?
Really, like that would be the start. Is go there to see if you're ready. Look at Google Analytics 4. I would consider like looking at that migration path too first because have that stuff squared away before you venture down this. And then you can kind of be set up for success because, again, while you're trimming that stuff, Google Analytics 4, get your kind of measurement in order first, and then start moving that so then you can have everything consistent. But also look at, costs. What can you expect for your server-side costs, like the page?
The traffic.
Yeah. So do that kind of analysis. Go, is this? Yep, right. And you can talk with Adswerve. We can help out with that to determine. We have done this now numerous times, so we really are prepared for like unexpected costs and try to alleviate that to make it predictable.
Okay, good.
So then it's like, okay, I can envision this is how much cost I'm going to have each month because this is an extra cost that you own this, but there's some additional stuff you can do again with that. It's like you can also even add your own data now because this is an extra stop before it goes, to all those other servers.
That's my server.
Yeah,
I can do whatever I want with it.
Yep, you can add your own data from maybe your own, maybe you have the Green Sox ordering system. Like you could add data from there or send it directly to there. So all kinds of stuff you could do. So you can redact data too. So you can, maybe you have you operate in a sensitive country to data and there's data privacy laws, you can actually remove data too. So if data was being sent there, you can make sure it's not being sent. So you kind of control your data with this, which is nice. Otherwise, the rest is like you load a script on that site, you don't know what it's sending completely. You can block some of it, obviously, but you're kind of in control, obviously. But with Tag Manager and mapping some of the variables to it, but
Cool. Well, there's a lot to this.
There is. There's a lot to think about. So,
I haven't bought a server in a while, so I'm gonna have to take her slow.
Just start with a computer in your basement. It totally works.
But you've talked about this before with some other folks, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, we had in the past an introduction to server-side Google Tag Manager. This is recorded, so it's evergreen content, at least for now. So you can scan this QR code here, and it'll take you to the website to actually see the overview, and then lead to a recorded broadcast of that webinar. So you can learn more. Also, just us as Adswerve, we're there too. Contact us, and we can help with server-side GTM installs. Specifically, Google Cloud Platform is kind of our specialty, but these can live anywhere. Really, it can be on Azure, AWS. Like I said, your they're good. Yeah. So, and you may need like a UPS, so uninterrupted power supply, so you can, in case your power goes out.
Well, thanks for chatting with me about this and greensox.com. I hope to get a little better page load speed.
Well, I hope to get some socks from there.
Yeah, you should.
Can I get some free socks from you?
Well, I could probably put a promo code on there for you. Yes. Not free.
Okay. So, discount.
Yeah.
I'll help you out. We'll exchange.
For sure. But you really helped, demystify some of this. I've heard this acronym SGTM, or otherwise known as Server-Side Google Tag Manager. It always makes me wonder why they didn't put two S's, like SSGTM.
I don't know. I think, I don't know. That was there for a bit, actually. It's more of we've called it that. I don't think it's actually a Google specific thing of SGTM. I think honestly it's us. We call it, when I'm writing about it, it's like WGTM and SGTM. That's how I distinguish it. It's just quicker.
Cool. Well, thanks a lot. And if you've got any other topics that you want demystified, let us know in the comments below. Till next time, eh?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Gord. This is fun.
Thank you. See you later.
Bye, all.